Yo, what's good, y'all? You dub back again. Here to talk about a much different type of video than probably what you see from the norm from a lot of channels and whatnot. And this is exactly the purpose of my channel, to bring diversity, to bring a niche of entertainment of all kinds, to talk about all kinds of things that other people do not talk about. And for those who know me, especially this day and age, those who really know me, they know I love the martial arts and I love fighting. I'm very analytical and I break down the way things are. Now, the thing about me is I have a lot of different views and perspectives than a lot of other people bring to the table. A lot of people parrot a lot of the same information. They parrot a lot of the same thought. With me, it doesn't make me special or whatever else, but I just view things differently, especially as one who is very unorthodox when it comes to me personally as a fighter. One who isn't blessed with God-given extraordinary, natural athleticism. One who wasn't born and raised into the martial arts, who came to love the martial arts on him, by himself. Now, my pops, did stuff back in the day, but he never pushed us into it. He didn't push us into sports either. So I came into it of my own. I don't have this extensive background when it comes to the martial arts. And I may do a video talking about all that, but just wanting y'all to know I'm going to do different videos. I do still need to get to the martial arts death matches, but it's just a lot to talk about and whatnot. But in this video, you see these 7 most dangerous body types to fight. Now, what does wonder mean by that? When I look, I can just view it for anywhere from a split second to about 2 seconds. If it takes 5 seconds for me to go, I know that person's bad news. These are what I look for. I will break down each and give examples of each of these body types that I'm talking about. And probably in a couple cases give some stories and whatnot if necessary. But these body types, when I say the most dangerous, it means I'm going to have the toughest time with. And if I'm going to have the toughest time with them, pretty much 99% of people are going to have the toughest time with them. You can say, well, everybody's different and there's fightings out. Yes, this is true. But these body types are tried and true, difficult ones. All right. I'm also going to have another follow-up video with the worst types of body types for fighting. So you will get both ends of the spectrum. All right, coming in with my first type. The first thing that came to my mind, the refrigerator stocky body type. All right. There's a number of examples I have for this one. But y'all know what a refrigerator looks like, right? That kind of squared, just frame body type. Y'all know what stocky is, right? Not overweight, but just block of person, right? Some examples I have of that. Julio Cesar Chavez. If you know Julio Cesar Chavez, you know how he was. He's one of the most dangerous, one of the most accomplished, arguably the greatest fighter in boxing history. Need I say no more? If you don't know about this man's fight, and trust me, I'm not even a fan of his style, but you cannot deny the results. This man would put pressure. He would cut off the ring. If you're in the Hajime no Ippo should learn from Julio Cesar Chavez. In fact, Ippo should probably fight a dude like Julio Cesar Chavez. This man was devastating. He was hard as hell to hit, and he was tough as nails. Second on this list with me, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. It allowed for Marvelous Marvin, for Hagler, he was able to switch a lot of times, all right? Seamlessly between offense and defense, between orthodox and southpaw, his stances. His body type was tough to deal with because there's no basic openings. I mean, there are openings in his style, but as far as in his body type, you look and you sit and you're going, do I go to his body? That's tough. Do I go to his head? It's hard to hit. So it's very difficult to deal with in a fight, especially if you don't have a lot of fighting experience. Another example, I have a dude, he was a classmate of mine, John, right? This dude, he was my fullback and when in high school when we played football. Best tackler, one of the best tacklers I've ever seen. And I'm talking about even with pros. This dude was legitimately a refrigerator, a mini fridge on legs. He was probably about 5'8", 5'9". This dude would run through folks. When he tackled you, I'd rather been tackled by him than another dude who would probably be on this list, Christian, who was pretty much my tight end. This dude was our middle linebacker. This dude was rough. He knew how to hit. He knew how to use his body, and he would drive and plant you. When it came to basketball, this dude was freaking... Sometimes he would clog up the middle. Sometimes I would. Sometimes one of our other big men. But as short as he was, it didn't matter because this dude was an enforcer. This dude could have played any sport. When it came to baseball, he had a bit of an arm. Like, it's almost as if his body was built for just rough combat. It's like the genetics. But to move on, one of the dudes I have is LaDainian Tomlinson. Now, LaDainian Tomlinson is not a overly muscular guy, but if you see his body type, and especially if you knew when he used to play and run for the San Diego Chargers, he was tough. He was fast too. He was quick, but it's just his body type, bro. That quick, and that was the same thing with John. Just quick, deceptively quick. You're like, oh, you think he's going to be slow? No, he's not slow. He's deceptively quick and deceptively tough. And the last example I give for that, for the refrigerator stocky type is Ricky Williams, another football player, another phenomenal running back in the 2000s. Another guy, deceptively quick, really tough to bring down, really tough to deal with. And when that comes to fighting, that means it's going to be great durability, good potential of stamina, and, quickness, when it comes to footwork, potential hand quickness, and a lot of power he's bringing to the table. So you're dealing with a guy who checks in a lot of areas naturally, without any training. That's dangerous. Coming in number 2, the small neck types. Now, the small neck types, these are the guys, it's like they have a neck, but these some swole, broad shoulder brothers, right? Examples that I have of that was, you got Khabib Nurmagomedov. I can never say his name, but Khabib, bro, it's not fair. He's not fair. He should be fighting in a bigger weight class, and I have a lot to say on Khabib. He's not a phenomenal wrestler. He mauls. But let me tell you, this dude is built for combat. He has a natural shock absorber of a neck, of a body. He doesn't have a lot of head. Like, you can hit his head, but it don't matter because he naturally shock absorbs. And his body, because he has a small neck, it's just like condensed. And so it's very tough to deal with those type of fighters. They're very tough. It's almost like if it's a catch-22. It's a lose-lose. Because if you strike them, they're going to absorb it. And you're probably going to get tired as hell from striking their asses. And if it comes to ground game, they have a natural advantage because they don't have a lot of openings. They're quick, usually lower to the ground, very powerful, very explosive. Another example of this, Rocky Marciano. Now, who I consider the 4th greatest boxer in history. Rocky Marciano, the undefeated 49-0. This dude was devastating to the final round. He had stamina for days. This dude, he doesn't seem like the greatest of athletes, like his body. But let me tell you, you did not want to fight Rocky Marciano. He had too much explosive power. And that's what this type brings. It brings great shock absorption with durability and great explosive power. Similar to the refrigerator, but this is even more power. They're devastating to face. On both the ground game and in the striking game. You don't really want to fight these guys. These are the type of guys you want to stay away from. One of the top types that you want to stay away from. Anytime I see these kind of guys, if I had to, I would face them. This is probably, for me, the least likely of the people that I want to face at all. On this list, to me, this, for me personally, in my fighting style, is most dangerous. Not for others, but this is definitely for me the top. The small necks, bruh, you do not want to face these guys. Brock Lesnar, phenomenal example. Both you see it in the WWE, you also saw it in UFC. It's not fake with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's an absolute monster. But you look at this cat and tell me he don't look like he's built to fight. Like he's meant to fight. Like he's born bred to do this. Not NCAA collegiate champion. UFC champion. Currently the Universal champion in WWE. I don't really need to say, if you know who Brock Lesnar is, come on, just look at him. Just look at him. You like, bro, I ain't trying to fight him. I ain't trying to fight him. Even if he ain't the greatest, he don't have the greatest hands, even if he ain't the greatest grappler, you ain't trying to fight him. Then you talking about like Khabib. Like this dude ground and pound game is great. It's top tier. I've never seen anybody ground and pound like Brock Lesnar does. He's world class, elite level wrestling. He's powerful as hell, and he got the ground and pound game. And his move, the F5, just tossing folk like they pizza. Finally, I got Frankie Edgar. I believe another UFC fighter. Remember when, if I recall correctly, the notorious Conor McGregor fought Frankie Edgar, I'm pretty sure I'm thinking the right fight. This dude was tough. He, again, not a big guy, but a guy you don't want to face because it's hard. Probably even less openings, or even if they give up openings, like they let you hit them, they absorb the damage, you get tired, and then they just go to work later in the fight. If you want to beat these kind of guys, you got to beat them early, and they're very difficult to beat early. Because if you don't beat early, you're probably going to be tired out, and you're probably going to be done later, and probably going to destroy you. Coming in with a third body type, not to prolong this video, just big. These are big men. These are the giants, for lack of a better term. My first example is my dude Christian. Went to school. He was great younger than me. This man was 6'8", like 260 on reg. Gentle giant, but let me tell you something. I remember one time we were just practice. We were sparring, at a park, and this might have been my junior year in high school, right? Oh man, he was so difficult to deal with because he literally had the reach advantage. So I couldn't outbox. Tried to, it wasn't. Trying to get inside was difficult because he could still move. He was big. And you would think he's a big target, but it's not that simple. And again, I wasn't as knowledgeable about fighting at the time. I started to understand the game better, so I could probably definitely do better. And I didn't have the proper footwear, honestly. And there was a few other factors. But still, I'm always can throw hands, no matter what my state of mind is, no matter what. But it was just so difficult with his reach. And you would think, oh, then let me just go in the infight. No. His hits, he just had natural, raw power. Just natural, devastating raw power. That if you even got inside, let's say you did get inside, okay, you're still walking into big blows of hooks and uppercuts. So that was a great reminder. And like when we play football, I reference him. When he would tackle you now, John, who I referenced earlier, was a better tackler. Christian, he hurt less, but he would just throw his weight into you. And he was so big that when he ran as a tight end, he would carry dudes. Now, if he kept chopping, he would break free, if you know what that is in football. But he just was so big and difficult. You had to take out his legs. But he would drag you at bare minimum 5 yards, 5 to 7 yard gain, pick up always. Because he was just that damn big. Another example, Shaq. Shaq, I mean, I probably could be Shaq, but you don't want to face Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal's just massive. And if you don't know who Shaq was, YouTube real quick, 7'3", 300 pound center, NBA. The most dominant big man in NBA, and really basketball history. He was just massive. And just problems. He just problems, bro. Just problems. She's just too big, too strong. Another example of this, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, right? Another just, and he was just naturally athletic and nasty with it back in the day. A legendary player. If you don't know about him in basketball history, you need to go back and look at it. Let this dude. I know I'm name dropping a lot of dudes, but just giving y'all examples. A last guy of this category, Andre. Oh, one of the two more, and they're both pro wrestlers. Andre the Giant and Undertaker. The Undertaker. Now, if you know Andre the Giant, he died several years ago, probably multiple years ago at this point. He was just big. And if famous matchup was him and Hulk Hogan and I believe WrestleMania. All right. Andre the Giant, bro, the man was just stupidly big. He was 500 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was a 7-footer. Like, bro, you just look and you sitting like, bro, how is any of these guys going to be able to deal with this man? He's just too big. Undertaker was the same thing. Like, anytime Undertaker would throw a punch, you knew that if that junk connected, you know homeboy was feeling it. Like, it wasn't just like the dude was acting. No, this man Undertaker is just too big. Just too big. You ain't trying to deal with that. You're not really trying to fight that. This man looked like Undertaker, looking like he would be like one of them Vikings back in the day. Like, imagine in Britain or wherever else maybe, right? Viking, somebody like Undertaker come through. I'm pretty sure that put the fear of God in somebody. Moving on. Fourth type. Heavy type. An example I gave us the sumo body type. The typical sumo body type that you see. Not the smaller ones, but the big boys we think of. The big men. Big boys. They absorb. Yes, they're generally slower, but if it's in an enclosed environment, you feel pressure because you know if they get you on the ground, if they're able to get their hands on you, if they strike, you got problems. Good luck dealing with all that size. An example of this with boxing, you had Butterbean. Now, Butterbean did take L's, but they called him the king of the 4-rounder. Butterbean, just big. Just big, heavy, nasty to deal with. Go look him up. If you don't know who Butterbean is, go look up Butterbean. Devastating. Devastation is all I say. Another example, Lennox Lewis. Big, 6'8", British heavyweight champion. Just big, tough to deal with. He was intelligent too. If you've never seen Lennox Lewis fight, again, go YouTube all these cats. A lot of these cats I'm mentioning. Go see and see if you want to fight that person. Lennox Lewis was so big. I put him on the heavy more so than the big because you just look at his body type. He just has a lot of weight and I increase a lot of power. And if he connects, you got problems. And he connected a lot and he got a lot of knockouts. Lastly, Big George Foreman, another boxing legend. What do I have to say about George Foreman? The man was just knocking out fools. A lot of times not even using the greatest of techniques. He was just, his name alone says it. He was just big. He was big, heavy, and brute power. He had fists that just were made to devastate and destroy. Moving on. I think the heaviest category is the simplest to deal with. Cause you know him. You see him when you encounter him. Number 5, deceptively long individuals. My first example is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, what was so devastating about Muhammad Ali? He was only 6'3", right? But if you watch his opponents, I'm pretty sure they're like, we know about his speed, we know about, what was so devastating about Muhammad Ali wasn't just his footwork, it wasn't his speed, it wasn't his head moving, whatever. All that quickness, sure, but even as his advanced age, even after he was past his prime, he was so long. He could snap a jab, just snap, boom, boom, and hit you in so many angles and so much distance. He could close distance. Deceptively long guys are just devastating as strikers. You don't want to fight them. And as grapplers, they throw off your sense of perception, because you like, oh, I got them. You try to go in and you catch a knee. You try to go in and you come up a step too short. And now they have the range advantage. Now you're within their dome and they just starting to tee off on you, or they're just shutting down all of your advances. Besides Muhammad Ali, I put Tayshaun Prince, an old basketball player. In basketball, when it comes to defense, especially on the wing play, Tayshaun Prince, I consider him arguably the greatest defender I've ever seen. Because Tayshaun Prince, he was so long. Folks, you couldn't get around him. Go watch him play. He was phenomenal to watch defensively. He was like, imagine that kind of length. Imagine that kind of stopping power, trying to deal with that in a fight. Yeah, he appeared, skinny, but getting in his range is a problem in of itself. It's just a problem. And that's the problem with these guys. These guys are just problem because they're so long. Then another example, another legend. This is a legend in basketball. Kevin McHale, Mr. Automatic. Again, these guys, a lot of them got shoulders like back. And it looks like you can get inside. Kevin McHale, he was just so long. Go watch him with the Boston Celtics. Go watch and see what he did and how he devastated both on the offensive and defensive end. And you see trying to translate it to fighting. Oh, I wouldn't want to fight him. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't want to fight him, because dealing with range is so important. It doesn't matter if you're on the ground or if you're in the air. If you're on the ground, they can stuff all of your attacks. It's difficult, especially if they get on top. But even getting, the Tough series deals with this. Even if we're on their back, it's harder to get locks when dealing with somebody who's so long. You think you got them locked, but no. Or they can come around, and while you're going to work on the arm or the leg, they come around and throw something and start hammering away with punches or doing their own things, and they do a reversal on you. So it's very difficult to deal with very lanky guys. And the last guy I say, of course, is the notorious Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's so long. He's so long. Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. never dealt with anybody as big or as long and lanky as Conor. And Conor caused Floyd problems in the early rounds until Floyd, as he always does, figures out the game plan. But yeah, man, these long and lanky guys, they have a great track record in both sports and in fighting of just being phenomenal when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to their accomplishments, because they have a natural advantage over many guys. The average size guy, for example. 6, we're moving along. I know this is a longer video, but I wanted to break things down. And for those who enjoy fighting, I think they will appreciate this. Guys who are light on their feet. Guys who are light on their feet are so annoying. They're so tiring. They're like a bee. They're like a wasp. They're like a deer, a gazelle. First example, Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. I don't really need to say much more. You think you corner Floyd? Nah, he brought you into his play. He can get out of that corner anytime. He can be in the middle of the ring. He can dance around the ring. That ring is his whole domain. It's his zone. It's like if you know Hunter x Hunter, Nobunaga's zone, that 3 meter radius. That's Floyd. That's Floyd right there. The entire ring is his playground. Dealing with that is so difficult. He make you look like a fool, both from his offensive and defensive standpoint. That's the most difficult part about his game. He's got phenomenal head movement, phenomenal counter punch. Like, he pretty much mastered all forms of pro boxing. But being light on his feet lets him get away, and it lets him be on, and his reaction time is Rager's Edgeworth. But being light on his feet allows him, if I can get in trouble, I can just get myself out of there. Folks call it dancing. No, it's called hit and not getting hit. That's the art of boxing right there. Another example of that. Sugar Ray Robinson. Go watch the legendary Sugar Ray Robinson. He was the progenitor of all this. Ali and everybody else came after him. Sugar Ray Robinson was so light on his feet, Dan. Like this man was known. Poetry in motion. This man was almost looked as if he was dancing out there in the ring. In a boxing ring, this man looked like he was dancing. Legitimately dancing on fools. It's impeccably impressive. And the last example I have in this category is Sugar Ray Leonard. Another example. You're just beautiful to watch. Just grace and style in the ring. And rings aren't big. But how do these men do it? Now, a lot of people would put Ali in this one, but I think his deceptive length is more to the credit. But you could throw Ali in this type of guy. Also showcase why Ali's the greatest of all time when it comes to boxers. Because he was both deceptively long and light on his feet. These light on your feet guys, guess what they happen to be? All legends. Because you can't touch. If you can't touch them, then what you supposed to do? If you can't touch them on the ground, if you can't touch them with your hand, then what you supposed to do? What you going to do against these guys? Good luck with that, and come back to me if you got an answer. Coming in with the last body type. The athletic body type. Now, I want to make this clear. That doesn't mean that none of these categories have athleticism. That's clearly not the case. But the athletic body type, it's almost as if God chiseled out these body types himself. They just built, you know the athletic body type. You know the guy, whether it be in the gym, whether it be in the dojo. I mean, gym is in, gym, working out gym, but even boxing gym in the dojo, on the court, on the field. You know the guys you went and you just see, and they just a masculine specimen that is aesthetically beautiful. A lot of women love the body type too, because it's like, damn, bruh. It's not fair. This is the not fair body type. Looking wise, but also in dealing with them when it comes to fighting and in sports. I'm comparing a lot of sports because a lot of these guys could translate to phenomenal fighters, and they're great examples. It's sometimes harder to find examples in fighting with these different body types. But anyways, coming in, LeBron James. LeBron King James. LeBron James is a freak of nature. This is what it is. This dude, 6'8", 6'9", 250, 260. Look at LeBron James and tell me you want to fight that man. No matter what you view of him, if you view him soft, no matter what, tell me you legitimately, in your right mind, do you want to fight that kind of body type? No, because he's naturally quick, explosive, he's naturally strong, powerful, whatever you name it. He looked like a guy who can just mess you up in every way. He looked like the body type of a complete fighter. You look like a guy that doesn't really have holes in his game if he were to dedicate to his fighting. You see how he is on the court. He looked like a guy who could do pretty much almost any activity he wanted to. He's just naturally blessed like that. Another example is John Bones Jones. Bones Jones, good luck in trying to find holes in his fighting game. I break him down and I analyze. DC Daniel Cormier, one of the best wrestlers, grapplers in the world, but DC can't handle Bones. Didn't DC try to stand up with him? Not happening there. So you got a guy who can strike elite on an elite level, and you got a guy who you don't want to go to the ground with. What do you do against that? What do you do with that? Another example, Randy Orton, the Viper, the Apex Predator, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. Now, I do have a problem with Randy Orton. He never upgraded his legs. You need to get them legs right. But Randy Orton, even though he seems like a skinnier guy, I don't want to face Randy Orton. This dude looks like he's too quick, looks like he's too agile, looks like he's too destructive. This dude looks like he gonna play with you in the ring, in the octagon, in any encounter. If you met him on the street, you probably gonna get messed up. Because you can't hit what you can't see. And if you can't see the dude move, good luck in dealing with him. Speed kills, literally. Coming in also with both Matt and Jeff Hardy, two other guys. I put them, especially when they were younger. Yeah, they're not the biggest guys. But again, I'm not trying to fight them. I'm not trying to face guys who have overwhelming athleticism because I don't know all of what they can bring to the table. It's too many calculations I have to do in too short of a time frame. And in that short of a time frame, that's how you get knocked out. That's how you get done. That's how you get potentially killed. And lastly, Bruce Lee, the grandfather, the legend himself. Bruce Lee, he epitomizes this. Not a big man, but let me tell you, the man no one wants to fight. I don't care what side you are. And the athleticism, while I consider, the small neck types the most dangerous for me, the athleticism you can argue to be the most dangerous of all the body types. That's why I kept it last, because the athletic types, like, bro, it doesn't matter your weight. It doesn't matter your size. They can pick you apart. They just have natural God-given gifts and talents that just make it an unfair advantage to fight. And all of these are very, like I said, all of them are dangerous to deal with. But the athletic body type, what do you do against someone who's just superior in almost every area? And if that person's a fighting genius like a Bruce Lee, I can't put my money on it. With these other body types, you can maybe I can come up with this play, or maybe they're here. Maybe I can utilize like the heavy. Okay, maybe I can use speed. The deceptively long, maybe I can get inside on him. The light on his feet, as difficult as it is, keep pressuring in corner and keeping him on the defensive. The small deck is as tough as it is, pretty much they're definitely beatable, because once you start picking them apart with great striking, their advantages turn into weaknesses. When it comes to the refrigerator, the stocky styes, take them into the deep waters. As difficult as it is, take them into the deep waters. Their stamina might run out. Julio Cesar Chavez was maybe an exception to that, but their stamina might run out. You might catch them and find opportunities to take them out. The big guys, you just got to survive. You just got to survive. But when it comes to the athletic guys, it's very difficult to find a way to win, man. And these are my thoughts. And like I said, I knew this video was long, but this was me breaking down a comprehensive view on the matter. Unexpected Wonder, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me y'all thoughts on the matter. Tell me some of y'all favorite fighters. Tell me what you think for you personally, and then overall, what you think are the most dangerous body types of a fighter for you to face and such. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.